Spring has sprung here in the eternal city of Rome and in the surrounding countryside, a beautiful time that really makes me see how much inspiration there is around me in the contrast of light and shadow, in the gaze of a beautiful cat, in the blue of an almost April sky over one of the cities I love most in the world. Spring is a time of change, and change can mean feeling less stable for some of us, especially those of us with artistic minds. As always, I try to find balance through making art, especially watercolour. It always seems to soothe me. Hello, I'm Fiona Di Pinto, and this is Drawings in a Drawer. On this channel, we discuss watercolour and art in general, and how the process of creating can help us heal and live our best lives. If you are new, be sure to click on that notification bell so you won't miss any of my weekly uploads. And now, let's get into today's topic. Lately, I've become frustrated with how slow my painting process is at times. I notice there is a lot of hesitation, especially when I rewatch my videos while editing, and I will leave some of these moments in the footage so you can see for yourself. I lift with kitchen paper a lot, more than necessary. My mixes stay diluted for a very long time. I go over the same areas over and over again. I also happen to know that other watercolour artists that I talk to usually don't spend more than 2 or 3 hours on a painting. That doesn't apply to all of us, of course, and I do feel I have to say that it's completely up to you how long you want to spend on a piece. But I personally think watercolour is a very immediate art medium, and in a way the spontaneity and the flow can be lost when we drag things out too long. Also, you really only get one chance with each painting. It's not like you can go over it and cover up mistakes. That is just not how watercolour works. Another reason why it shouldn't take hours or at times even days to complete a painting. Initially today, I wanted to talk about ways to paint faster, and indeed this painting was carried out over the span of 2 days, yes, but I managed to limit the time I spent on it on maybe 2.5 or 3 hours at the most. But then I thought about what watercolour does to my mind while I paint, how it quietens the noise, cancelling out the world. And then I thought it's not so much that I should be painting faster, but that I should put less pressure on myself to create paintings that I'm always completely satisfied with. Because for me, it really is so much more about the process and how I feel when I am painting. If, like me, you sometimes struggle with rushing thoughts that you cannot seem to keep up with, or worse, catastrophizing, you will know that almost anything that will take the edge off that is going to be welcomed with open arms into your life. And for me, that thing, among a few others, is watercolour. It's making art. It is true, though, to a certain extent. I have to let watercolour be watercolour, and I'm not doing that when I try to control it too much. Watercolour is free. I would picture it like a child running in the wind, laughing. I don't want to be putting any brakes on that. So what can I do? And what can you do if you are struggling with the same issues or are looking to start making art to improve your mental well-being? Whatever you do, if you are already on your art journey, I don't want you to give it up. Or if you intend to start, I don't want you to change your mind because possibly you are encountering the same obstacles I feel I am, or you're worrying about it. Because staying with a watercolour painting too long can also make you lose touch with the piece itself. You lose the momentum, the meaning starts to slip away. It has happened to me many times. But there is so much that making art and working with this gorgeous medium can do for you, that the reason I am here making this video today is to spur you on, to urge you to start or to keep going, because the peace and relief it can bring you is not something you should have to do without. I don't think we really need to paint faster per se, but there are certain corners we can cut so we can pour our feelings out onto the paper while we are feeling them. And more importantly, we still get the chance to paint because it won't be taking up so long that we will start feeling we cannot make room for it anymore in our very often busy lives. Not to mention the fact many of us still feel guilty about spending too long on what for many is still just messing around or playing, on the par with doing something like scrolling on your phone. Yes, some people do see it like that, and their opinion, unfortunately, can influence us. The first thing we can do is stop sooner. Watercolour paintings often look better looser and can easily get overworked. And once that happens, there is no going back. Even this painting you're seeing, but also many others I have done, looking back on them, possibly could have been considered finished sooner, when the beautiful transparency of watercolour was even more visible, when you could actually see that the piece was created almost with tinted water. There's a certain quality to that kind of painting, like a reflection in water, a thought, a dream. So remember to step away from your work and return to it with fresh eyes to consider whether it really needs more done to it. The second thing we can do is paint slightly thicker. I have noticed that compared to many of my students on Patreon, I paint with more water, and this does mean that you get the intensity you are seeking quite a bit slower. That is going to be a hard one for me, as I really love painting with lots of water, but I also love exploring new techniques, which very often leads me to discovering new things I like and that I end up incorporating it into my art, so my style evolves. Like the dry brushstroke, which you saw me using in the hair, where there is almost no water in the mixture and the paint has a buttery consistency. If you're against painting slightly thicker, then try less layers. I have seen some absolutely beautiful work that was clearly carried out with only 3 or 4 layers, to the extent where you could see right through them. And last, but by no means least, accept the nature of watercolour and try to control it less. Accept, let go. Close the sketchbook, and if you haven't watched my video about the secret sketchbook concept, that might be something you'd like to put on after this one. That might be a new adventure you could start. What I meant to say to you today is don't get frustrated with your artwork. Embrace it and seek ways to keep doing it so that the negative talk, the stress, and the world can just fall away for a while and you can be in your own magical bubble. I hope from the bottom of my heart that I was able to help you. If you'd like to further connect with me and join my art community, all my links will be in the description box below this video. Don't forget to leave a comment. I always love reading them. But most importantly, don't forget to appreciate yourself and love who you are, because you are special. That's all from me for today. I will be back on here next Sunday. As always, I will see you soon. Bye for now.